Welcome back to the WhiteRino Show. I'm your host, WhiteRino, and as you can see, there's been a few changes here. There's been a few changes. I got a brand new co-host, August
Hello.
148. Tonight we're gonna be doing football. So we're talking about football. So August, tell me what your favorite football team is.
Well, um, I don't really watch football, so this is gonna be kind of awkward for me.
Okay, well,
um, the football team that I root for when I actually watch football would probably be the Seattle Seahawks.
okay,
Um, but apart from that, I don't really watch football.
all right. My favorite is New England Patriots. So I'm a big Patriots fan. Not doing that great this year. Seattle's doing
They're
pretty
doing
decent this year.
pretty decent,
Pretty
yeah.
decent, yeah. Um, so one of the things I wanted to talk about was where do you see certain teams going and how far do you think they're gonna go? So like you and the Seahawks, how far do you think the Seahawks are gonna go?
Well, we still have a pretty new coach for our team. So I don't really expect us to go to the Super Bowl this year or next couple years,
Mm-hmm.
but I think we need to have better draft picks. But then
Yeah.
again, so does every other team. So
Mm-hmm. I'm the same way. Patriots are doing awful this year. Even with the new coach, with the draft picks, there's
uh
been a lot of different decisions that's been made on the offensive line, like front, that I think should be different. Now, despite the fact that a lot of the offensive line is hurt and they can't really do that much about it, but no, I don't think the Patriots are going to get that far this year. But let's talk about the teams that are going to go far this year. Who's your top five right now?
um. Well, I have no idea.
I I know what Tom Brady said. Tom Brady said his top five is the Chiefs, the Ravens, the Jets, the Lions.
hmm
Oh crap! And what was it? Jared Goff and yeah, the top five. I'm trying to think. I watched it earlier. I can't remember what it was, but those four in particular, I know are Tom Brady's top.
Yeah.
And I mean, my top. I do not want the Chiefs to win this year. I don't. I want them to do horribly, 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 horrible, horrible. I want them to do bad, but they're not doing that. They're doing pretty decent. They're 3-0. Vikings are 3-0 as well right
hmm
now. It's just hard to say with all the different teams. Um, Joe Burrow, that's who it was, and the Bengals. Um, they're. I think the main teams, like my top five, I
hmm
think the Chiefs are gonna make it to the playoffs. I do. I don't want them to. I think the Ravens are gonna make it. I think the Lions are gonna make it. I think the oh gosh, I think the Bengals will make it. That's my top four. Now, if I had to pick another one, I guess the Vikings maybe. I haven't really seen much out of the Vikings,
Yeah.
but I've seen the Seahawks play, and the Seahawks are doing a pretty decent job from what I've seen and from what I've heard. Um, so those are my top five. What do you think needs to change with the Seahawks in order for them to be successful?
Um. Well, I actually haven't even watched the game yet.
You
so
haven't
I, I
watched a game,
I haven't. No,
bro.
that's the thing. Um.
You haven't,
Yeah.
you haven't watched a game.
No,
No
not.
games at all.
I know that the
That's
Seahawks
crazy,
are at like 3-1.
right? That's a better
Um,
record than what the Patriots have. I'll tell you that much.
right now. The Seahawks are in 13th.
Yeah, that's way better than where I'm at. We're
Yeah.
0-3. Not a good thing. Well, Patriots are playing the Jaguars next week, right? Patriots playing the Jaguars. On Instagram, I seen that some people were projecting the Jaguars to win this
Hmm.
next week, 31-13. How do you feel? Do you think that's a little bit too much, or do you think that's actually accurate?
Uh.
Now, the Jaguars haven't been this good, that great this year either. So, like, they've been
Yeah.
losing quite a bit. So, I feel like that's kind of a stretch. I think it
I
might
I
be
would
close,
I would think it would be kind of a stretch.
but you don't think
Mm,
that it's gonna be a big game, like it is, like they're saying it's going to be, like a big beat.
I don't know if it's gonna be that big. It might be.
That's a valid point. Patriots are
Yeah.
only scoring, they're not even getting over 20 points
Hmm.
per game. They're getting like 14, 16 points per game. And defense, they don't have an issue. Their defense is fine. It's their offense that's stopping them. And I've seen the Seahawks play, and they're still doing pretty good. Now, Seahawks just got beat by the Lions pretty
Yeah.
badly. And I must say, the Lions came out on top. They got the new jerseys, the new fit, and the Seahawks play. I don't know. I didn't watch the game, so I don't know how they played. But I know they didn't play at their best because they didn't win. So what? I mean, did you watch any of the highlights? Did you watch any of the recaps of the game? Okay, no. Yeah, there's a
Yeah.
lot of things that the Seahawks need to do. Rather, it's work on the offense, work on the defense, and it's also just in general work on a lot of things, just like the
Yeah.
Patriots do. I mean, every team has their flaw, if you will. They've got their flaws that they have to work out in able
Uh.
for them to succeed. I think that as long as the Patriots just do what they're supposed to do and no one's hurt, they'll be a successful team. They're not gonna be in playoff position this year, God no, because
Hmm.
they're still rebuilding. I mean, look at the Seahawks, look at the Jaguars, look at the Bears. They're all still building, and yet everybody's wanting them and expecting them to be playoff contender teams.
And
Like
they're not going to be.
they're not going to be. Like, I mean, look at Gerard Mayo. He used to play for the Patriots himself, and now he's a head coach, and he's now starting to rebuild this offense that was never built to begin with. Because I mean, if you go back and look at Bill Belichick and the Tom Brady era, Bill Belichick never really worked with offense. He always was working on the defense,
Hmm.
and Brady was working on the offense. When you have a player that's that strong and is making that much money, you can do that. But now that Tom Brady has retired officially and has moved on, Bill Belichick is out of the game as well. We you can't afford that. Like, you can't afford those kind of things. Like, you can't just have someone work on defense, someone work on offense, and then that be that. You have to look at the whole big picture. There's every single person on the team has a job, has a role. And if that's not filled, it's not going to work out.
Yeah.
I mean, even all the way from the water boy to the mascot, I mean, it's still a job. Get it done.
Hmm.
I mean, I don't know if you've seen the one of the YouTube videos. I've seen it. It's like, "Hey, towel boy," or "Hey, water boy, get me a cup of water," or whatever, and you just throw him a bottle of water or whatever. Granted, this kid was really good at the sport,
Yeah.
and come back, 2 years later, like, who is this dude? Water boy or towel boy? And he's just cranking them. I mean,
Yeah.
boom, boom. So, and then he ended up getting drafted, which was interesting. It was super cool because, I mean, it's an interesting story behind it. But even still, it just shows you how important the roles are for each individual. So, I mean, as far as the playoffs go this year, I don't have anybody. I haven't even looked at playoffs yet. I really haven't. It's still too early, I think. I mean, it's the first quarter of the season that's
Hmm.
already down. We still got the rest of the season. It's still too early to start looking into playoffs with that. So, but the most dominant team in the NFL right now is the Chiefs. And if a team could stop the Chiefs from entering the playoffs, that would be amazing. Because we don't want the Chiefs to have a third Super Bowl in a row. We don't want that. I mean, no one does, unless you're a Chiefs fan. Which,
Yeah, and
hear me
if
out.
you're
The Chiefs are a solid team. I respect them, but not this year. I don't. I don't want them back. I can't. I can't afford that because me personally, when I think of, the Chiefs having a third Super Bowl, Patrick Mahomes is an understudy of Tom Brady. I look at all of that, and it's like Patrick Mahomes is going to be up there with him
yeah,
eventually. But I have to deal with a bunch of Chiefs fans at work. They're like, "Oh, Patrick Mahomes is gonna beat Tom Brady and this and that." I was like, "He's never gonna be the GOAT. He can't. I mean, you just can't." But if Patrick Mahomes does win three in a row, that's something that Tom Brady's never done. So, I mean, if we think about it that way, it's gonna be interesting. So that's why I really don't want the Chiefs to win this year. I mean, plus I'm a Patriots fan. I don't want any other team to win.
yeah,
So, but with all that being said, let's go Patriots and the Seahawks. If you haven't watched any of the NFL games, definitely check out the NFL games on the NFL app on your phone or NFLnetwork.com. Also, you can watch the NFL games on YouTube or ESPN or the Fox Network. Also, check in on your local NFL teams app as well that you can download. Um, Shout outs I wanted to give towards the end. Bronina, my camera guy, appreciate you coming out all this way. Really appreciate you. August, appreciate you for stepping up,
Oh,
being the new co-host. Appreciate Zen and Pepsi and the rest of the people that support us, Junior and Infinity. We appreciate all of you guys. Bambi Pie as well. We love every single piece of you guys. And we'll see you guys back next week, Tuesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You guys have a good rest of the week. WhiteRino out.